I think the way we're going to do it is I'll recap one panel and you recap the next panel, just to split up the work. Oh, we should
Okay,
say today we're recapping the very first Garfield comic strip from Monday, June 19th, 1978.
that's great. And let's make sure we're rotating that who starts because otherwise I always get the middle panel, and that's the
Oh,
driest business, you know.
yeah. We'll rotate. We'll go back and we'll rotate that, and then of course there's Sunday, which is the big boy.
Right.
That'll be a different one entirely. Okay, but let's start with panel number one. This is exciting. So in panel number one, John, he looks all fucked up. It doesn't look like he usually, like we think he will look in the future. And speaking of looking fucked up, there's Garfield over there. He's like a big sloth looking thing. And Garfield's sitting on top of a red cabinet, just being like, listen to this guy. John's leaned back with his elbow on his cartoonist drawing board, which is the first big thing I didn't realize about this going in was that Garfield's owner, John, is a cartoonist in Garfield, which we'll see if that sticks around as the comic strip goes on. But so John is saying, "Hi there, I'm John Arbuckle. I'm a cartoonist, and this is my cat, Garfield." Yeah.
Okay, and that brings us to panel number two, where we have a zoomed-in version of the last panel. Garfield, you can even see how much more fucked up Garfield looks. He actually looks taller in the second panel than he does in the first one. Like his body seems to have grown
Yeah.
even more. He looks just like a cartoon like gravestone with like a
Like an orange gravestone.
yeah an orange gravestone with like a cat's head kind of drawn on.
And maybe that's
Attached
a
to it.
nickname we'll give him throughout the show, which is the big orange gravestone, Garfield.
Right. As long as he looks like this, we should. Another thing to note is that it seems that Jim Davis, the author of this, he signs the middle panel. He wrote Jim Davis 619 on this one, so that was interesting.
I think
Uh,
maybe that's. I wonder if that's just because that's where all the blanks, where the most blank space was in this particular one.
that would make sense.
We can keep an eye on that for the next one.
Yeah, we'll keep a track of that. And then Garfield has a thought bubble, which I assume means that John can't hear what he's saying. He's saying, "Hi there, I'm Garfield. I'm a cat, and this is my cartoonist, John," which I guess indicates that he's being drawn by the man next to him.
Huh.
It's a real mind-boggling thing because who is he? Who is he thinking to? Is he thinking to us, the audience
Well,
that's reading
he's
his
staring
thoughts?
right down. He's staring right down the barrel.
Yeah, he's looking at us.
Um, so that's funny because you interpreted it as him saying he says this is my cartoonist John. I thought that just meant like this is my human John, and he happens to be a cartoonist, not that he's a self-aware cartoon being drawn by John.
I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I'm curious what you think John is drawing in the first panel because I'm
Well,
zooming in.
we'll get to it in the third panel because it's a little bit of a closer shot, right?
Oh yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, well that's a good segue to get to the third panel
These are
where
great segues, by the way.
thank
I
you.
think if we're nailing one thing, it's these segues.
Um, so this is a slightly zoomed out shot, slightly more zoomed as far as zooms go. It's slightly more zoomed out than the first. It's in between the first and the second one, and this one John's got. It's weird. His face is weird. You guys should look this up. What he because they all like just the way he's talking. It looks weird, and he says, "Our only thought is to entertain you," and then Garfield thinks, "Feed me." So, kind of the ironic juxtaposition there. It goes back like I don't think we hammered home how big the juxtaposition was between what John says in the first panel and what Garfield thinks in the second panel. But it's there, and then it's even more so here. I think the big joke being that he says our only thought is to entertain you, and then Garfield is thinking, feed me. There's a different thought altogether.
So, um, so if we're to believe like how this plays out, John is sitting next to a cat on a shelf, and he says, "Hi there, I'm John Arbuckle. I'm a cartoonist, and this is my cat Garfield." And then John just sits there for a minute because he
It's
can't
very
hear
smugly.
he
Look at
can't
his
hear
smug
Garfield's
face.
thoughts. Yeah, he has a very smug face. And then he says, "Our only thought is to entertain you."
Which is a weird thing to say. I've never heard that phrase before. My only thought is to,
Like that's the only thing I'm thinking about.
yeah. Do people say that? I would think it would be more like our only mission is to entertain you.
Yeah, when I think of my only thought is blank. Like the only thing I'm thinking is this, but I wouldn't say my only thought is to entertain you.
Right. Yeah. It's an odd phrasing. I think only so that then Garfield can think, feed me. Well, what? So yeah, what does it look like he's drawing on there? I can't zoom in on my.
So
Oh, okay, there we go.
I can. I have it looks like a little red spot. He looks like the 7-Eleven spot,
The
maybe.
7 Up spot. Yeah, that's what I
7
was
Up.
thinking.
Yeah, not 7-Eleven, 7 Up spot.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he looks like a shitty cartoonist, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks really bad. Like he's a really bad cartoonist.